Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It is Tuesday, Turnaround Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. I think if we end on a turnaround, I know that the Qs seem strong, but if we end on a red note here in SPY, I think we might get a lower high and we gap down or possibly start heading down tomorrow. So stick around. I'm going to show you on the 65 and on the daily exactly what pathway, if we get this lower high on the 65 minute, what kind of length, what kind of target, what kind of speed, I think we're going to head lower. Okay, so we're doing this intraday about 2:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested in getting these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube member for 99 cents. All right, let's jump into it, you guys. We're going to go SPY, and then we'll check around on around the horn on the lower time frames on all the other indices. Okay, so SPY right now, we have the 2000 top, and don't forget, we also have the 2029 top that we're at right now. So we're forming a top here. Do we get a throw over? I don't know, but probability. This is a game of probability. Probability is that we're going to head lower from here, right now. And that's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm trading. I'm holding tight on my puts. As a matter of fact, tomorrow we're going to add some more if we're still at the same level. And if not, I'll show you exactly where I'll add on some more puts. All right, so clearly, we're at resistance. Forget about the fact that we are in a bullish stance at this point. We're above the 8 EMA. All that's going to change. The sentiment is going to change quickly, and that's what happens. Everybody's bullish at the top. That's when we get reversals. Let's go to the weekly. Don't forget, we have negative divergence on every time frame. We just got negative divergence on the 65 on the Qs, so I'll show you that as well. Let's go to the weekly. All right, this is the 2007 top. I might have said that wrong on the last time frame, but still, we're here again. We're just retesting it. Okay, we'll see how this week ends. I think it's going to be a weak candle. I think we might get an engulfing candle. I don't know what the catalyst is going to be. We have Powell tomorrow at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the job numbers on Friday before the bell. So those could be any of the catalysts there, but we're still in a position. We're just at resistance. Where do I think we go first? On the weekly time frame, I think we test this trend line. And I'm not talking about this week specifically. That would be a heck of a move in 1 week, but I mean, anything's possible. I think our move is going to be a little bit more like this, where you have a few weeks moving down. All right. Let's go to the daily. On yesterday's video, we talked about the bearish rising wedge. Right here, we have the same wedge. I kind of cleaned this up. We have our ending diagonal play. This entire move here is an ending diagonal. Again, we went through that video yesterday. I'll post it above and at the end. This is the 2008 top here, 2021 top going into 2022. We're at it. Do we throw over? Sure. Do we go up to this trend line up here? That's about 608, 610, and whatever the case is. Yeah, maybe, but probability has it that with all of these divergences, every time frame diverges. Do we correct and get another one? That's what we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see this play by play. And on the daily time frame, I think our first spot we're going to head down to has not changed. It's going to be a test of, at minimum, the trend. Okay, the trend line, remember, we only have 2 points. We have the bottom and we have here. So I don't trust this trend line very much. Again, this is a weaker one as well, right here, because we had to move it because we had a nice trend, and that's all we're doing is back testing the old wedge that we had right here. So we're back testing that, and then we just moved it over because we made new highs. All right, so this coincides with the 50-day moving average, and I think our on the daily time frame, we're still looking to test, and I feel like 512, 1212. That's December 12th, 1213. I feel this move could be very large, and we could see this coming up in the next few weeks. It doesn't have to be, obviously, the farther out we go in time, the higher it's going to be price wise. But this is the breakout level, and I think we're going to test that. All right, that has not changed. We had this arrow here. It was just a little bit beforehand. So still looking at this being the target. Big move, right? Well, we're getting really tight in price action. So whatever the catalyst is, I think we start moving down there. And let's go to the 65 so I can show you after I show you this is what we looked at yesterday. So make sure you check out yesterday's video. This is how we ended up counting. I showed you how we count and what ending diagonals look like. And I think we're getting to the top there. So we don't have any time references. We on the weekly time frame, 1230 is our nearest one. So that's why I skipped that. We're just not looking for anything yet. So right here, we're looking for today being the cluster here today being the top going into tomorrow. So do we eke out one more high? Anything's possible, but I think we're getting to our limits here. And here's another projection of how this may go. We're looking for a wave one, an impulse wave down. So in the daily time frame, that move could be as far as 544. That's a heck of a move. I'm not saying that it gets there, but I have to adjust this as price goes up here. So let me adjust this so we can get some accurate numbers. The high here was 604.32. Just plug that in. And so 546, 557, that's it. This is the retracements from low to high here. So, do we get to 382 and that's it? And kind of spike through it? I think that's a valid situation. So these are the three levels I'm looking at. But if price going into the 12th, let's say it gets into there at the right around here, the 19th, here's the 16th or the 13th. Nope, sorry. The number's up here, 15th. And then you get to the 19th. So whatever spot here, as price goes down and we get into these targets and we have a cluster, then we'll be looking for some sort of reversal. So if that's up here, if that's down here, we'll put it right in the middle for now. And then what we'll be looking for on the daily time frame is a nice sharp pullback. Now, this can happen in two ways. We have initial move down, and then we have a quick zigzag that's very fast, and we continue our move lower, and it should be a 50-60% retracement. It could be as far as a 786. So I'm looking for a deep retracement, and then after that, a wave 3 down lower, okay? And we'll talk about that when we get there. I think this move is coming to an end. I know we've been saying that, right? There's going to be people here that says, well, we started right here. We got to our target. I didn't think we'd get to this 162% retracement. We got to the 580 mark here back in October 11th. This is where I started getting short. We played those shorts out, and then we made money, and we protected with the election. We protected ourselves, okay? With Tesla, that was a fantastic trade. So now we had a new game plan after this. The price just kept going higher and higher. It clearly made it to our last target here. Now we're above. It's got to hold on to the 8 EMA here in order to continue higher. So we'll see how that goes. But again, divergence all over. And what we mentioned to a friend of mine, Sean, and also the Discord today was this is a major historical top here. So it's taking its time. it's hard to kill a bull, but it's going to happen. And I think this wedge is filling out here. This is 65. This is a bearish rising wedge. I think we have our potential counts are done. I'm looking for literally here. You have a 5-wave move, 4 and 5 with a little ending diagonal there. And we're literally looking for a lower high today. So if that happens on the 65, we should see this target first. That's the breakout, the triangle, a good trend line here with these tops and tops and tops. So I think this would be a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave move down here. And let's see if this coincides with anything. So we have the 200 that's going to come up here. But let's say this looks like about 593 or so. And so I do think the market's going to decline into FOMC. So maybe that 218, you remember the daily time frame, we had a cluster at 219. Maybe the FOMC is the catalyst to get a reversal. So we'll be looking for lower prices into FOMC. Let's go over to change this board and see if there's anything here. So we're looking at about 593. There's nothing really on this page that will say anything about where we get a bounce from. So, we could put some retracements on this structure because this is a 5-wave move here. And 593 would be 50%. If it gets a little bit lower, that'd be at 592. So if you're bullish and you think there's going to be another 5 waves up, that we'll call it 592. We'll call it this 150% retracement should be where price gets down to. And that's important because what we're looking for at this point is initial move, 5-wave move. And by the way, this is from this correction here, we have our targets already met the minimum of that target. Does it go a little bit higher? The only thing that I think is left between today and tomorrow is possibly getting to that 604. That's the thicker line. We already tested the lower edge of that, and now the 604 would be our high, 604.59. So at this point, what we're looking at is the initial move down, which I think would be pretty quick. If this is a wave 3 started, we're going to 1, 2, wave 3 into the zone. Remember, this is going to be a zone, 593 down to 590, we'll call it, 3-point zone. And then getting a bounce. This is going to be a dead cat bounce, a 50-60% move, and I could see that being good resistance at this point at the 162. So that could be our bounce here. And then what I'm looking for into the middle of December is a continuation down. Maybe we get to that 12-13 time frame. And what we're looking for is a possible wave 3. We'll have to measure all that out once it starts to happen, but I'll just give placeholders at this time. A bounce, so usually wave 2 is a sharp bounce. We have wave 3, and then wave 4 is usually a shallow time-wasting bounce here, which could be a flat or triangle, and then heading lower from here. And remember, when things get going, wave 3 can't be the shortest, but wave 5, if wave 3 is longer than 1, wave 5 can be anything. It could be short. It could stretch out an extension where price is starting to go faster. So we can't assume that it's going to be a short 5. If it's equal, we'll measure that out too. So we're looking at minimum at this 565. So we'll see how this goes. And then 1230, you saw how we had that 1229. We have 1230. We have the 18 with FOMC here. Maybe that's our bounce, and we go lower from FOMC and then get a bounce. So all this is like we have to kind of change it as time and price comes together. we'll have to see. So we're at time and price right now with the high could be in, and that's where we have this one here. We can get rid of these curves, this cluster. So high could be in, but if we do eke out another high, we have another target, just basically a point above. And then we'll see our move down. Our first initial move, I wouldn't imagine would be very large. I think it'll be just to the bulls, a back test of that triangle, or maybe even gets down to the 200, which would be up a little bit higher at that point. And then we get a dead cat bounce. And so what I told you is if we start off higher tomorrow, we'll add puts. If not, as we get our bounce, we don't add puts at the bottom of our move just because we start seeing things moving. You know, that's a bad habit. We wait for a bounce to add on to our positions, okay? So we'll be looking to add on the dead cat bounce and lower. All right, this move is running out of steam. I know it's been arduous. This is an outlier. This is an outlier. So yes, we called October 11th. We got to our target at 580. That's right here. Got above it and then started breaking down. So it worked out for us in the beginning, hedged our plays, and we see what's happening now. Now I think this move is done again. All right. Yes, I did think it was done here also. So same thing happens over and over. Will it happen again? That's what most people are going to think. But then, you know, looking at all of these divergences, this is going to play out and people are going to keep buying. And that's the whole point of all this. All right. We can't get into those habits. We will hedge again. I guarantee it. We will hedge again, and we'll talk about it in the Discord. So if you're part of any of the packages, it doesn't matter which one you have, 99 cents to the $5 or anything. If you're a patron, you get the Discord. We have some fantastic traders in there. Have a good time. So we made divergence again with this high here, but with the Qs today, and here's the other divergence. We'll add that in. There's the after the correction. You notice how it played out, and then we got higher highs here. So now the divergence starts over with the Qs. But we have another one again. And today, specifically, we talked about in the room, we got our micro divergence right here on this new high. So does this get to the options expected move here? Possibly. And that could help move the market up. Or is it done and we get a lower high? We'll see what happens tomorrow. This one, I think, is going to lead everything. So we're not going to do a whole bunch of projections here. But if this breaks down, we get this fake break from this wedge right here, the throw over, fake break, then I think we break this first. I think the Qs lead. We break down from the wedge. That will be our sell signal again, but then we back test the wedge. Okay, so there's some pretty good support around the options expected move here. You have the 200 moving average, but I think the Qs will be a lot more volatile. So I think we spike through, maybe close the gap, and then start heading higher to for a dead cat bounce to back test the wedge, and then we start heading lower from there. That's where we'll add more puts. Okay. All right, really just a double top at this point. Not really anything to show with target wise. SMH. So we had that very important video on the weekend with SMH. And SMH broke down from its wedge already. So we're back testing the wedge again. Is there a little bit more room? Absolutely. So there, if price wants to kind of hold until the employment situation on Friday, it's possible. All right. But we're not waiting for that. It's just not how I play. So it looks like right here we have our initial 1-2. and we're getting a 1-2. Very similar type trades where it could be an expanding flat into an expanding flat. All right, 1-2, 1-2 setup, where this one should be just a little bit weaker. We're just back testing this wedge. And when this starts to break down again, which we could have our high in already, but if this is a 5-wave move, then we're possibly getting a wave 4 here, and maybe 5 ekes out a divergent high here. So there's still just a little bit more room if we need to do that tomorrow. And then this starts moving lower. I think this is a great opportunity to get back into SMH, IWM. These have broken down, IWM and DIA. But again, we have to just kind of keep an eye that rotation has been the game. This was a breakdown of a potential triangle, but is actually just an ABC correction? That is possible. And so if there's a rotation back into the small caps and these make a new high, we do have targets just above, while the Qs may start to break down. Now, we talked about in a members video, we talked about Meta and Tesla, and so that's for them. So there's rotation in and out of those. So if this wants to go higher, we have one last target up above here at the 162 retracement from this correction here. All right, we already hit the major one at 127. We're playing around with the minor retracements. There's a possibility of right here as well. So we'll see what happens going into tomorrow with that. So the VIX is holding on to this trend line we drew here. We'll see what happens off. We have support right underneath. Have that support that we didn't just now draw that. That's been there. So we could tag that support. Going into tomorrow, eke out that new high in SPY, and then start moving from here. So this is a wedge in itself that we'll be keeping an eye at. And we break out from this wedge, and I think this is going to start moving pretty quick. And we have positive divergence with this. It's just a matter of time here, folks. And there's our wedge, our falling wedge with positive divergence. Going into a couple catalysts right here. Boom, more divergence today. Boom. That's the name of the game. We have divergence on a slow stoke. This could gap down as soon as tomorrow, but we'll be looking out to see if the rotation trade it continues on. Again, we talked about this with the individual members that what else could hold up the market. So, all right, thanks for joining us here. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.